Categories or overall points?
I think it's overall points. We're a 15-person league. You really gotta pay attention to these other guys. Kelly Oubre might be a good pick.
Sixers' best player so far?
Yeah, yeah. Aside from,
No, no, he's been their best player so
I
far.
was about to say I don't know actually.
Him and Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, but I'm like I don't know about Kyle Lowry. That game against the Raptors, that game was hard to watch.
Told you.
Yeah, I was really like, okay, all we gotta really pay attention to is Scotty Barnes and like maybe Grady Dick, but I don't even think Grady Dick scored that well. Like he may have had like 10 points or less, and Scotty Barnes probably had like 20, but that was expected. But that was a hard game to watch.
Yeah, man. Like I was saying, without Embiid and without Paul George, I never have confidence in the Sixers winning games.
Yeah,
Love Maxey to death. He's a great two. He's not a one.
yeah.
He's not a guy you build a team around.
Looked all right last season when he has Embiid to like play off of if he's playing the one, but if he's playing the one with Andre Drummond, not that it's Andre Drummond's fault, but he's just a more suited to like Kyle Lowry. I felt
Yeah.
like just watching from that first game, even though Kyle Lowry's a little bit older, he probably should have started. Eric Gordon just didn't really do it for me that first game, like a mid range or something. I think he only finished with like 2 3 points. So,
Hmm.
that first game, and then they transitioned into the Raptors game where they started Kyle Lowry, which was a better one, and then he finished with about 11 points or like 14 points or something. So he was a little bit more productive, but
Which is crazy because you'd hope you'd be in a better situation than old ass Kyle Lowry.
right.
He's playing well. Maxey out there, when the whole offensive load is on Maxey's shoulders, man, he can throw up some duds.
Yeah.
He shoots. And I know you're the only guy out there. Go ahead, chuck it up. But
Uh-huh.
his shooting numbers through the first two games have been terrible. He can't hit. He's 2-9 against the Bucks from
From
three, and
three,
then
yeah.
2-12 against the Raptors.
Yeah.
24 points on 25 shots, and he took 31 shots in the first game.
8 for 31 the first game and 6 for 23 in the second game. It's
Yeah,
just,
so because there's so much attention on him
right.
without their stars out there, but man, he'd be taking some crazy contested shots too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him because he's definitely a rhythm shooter. Like if he sees it go through a couple times, he's just gonna start chucking it up there. And when he's obviously hot, he's gonna continue to make it. But if he's not hot, that thing's gonna brick every day of the week, and it's just never gonna fall for him. But that's why Kelly Oubre is like almost getting damn near a 30-point game or 25-point game in both of the first, because it's like you're expecting him, but that's not like your main game plan is to stop Kelly Oubre. So
Yeah,
he's getting a lot more looks, but it was a hard game overall. I mean, it was a productive game for the role players in the first two games, especially Kelly Oubre. But even in that first one with like Yabusele and Caleb Martin and Kyle Lowry getting in like the double digits in the teens era, and then the second game was kind of the same thing, but a worse game overall for everybody just because of the amount of shots that we made total and then the amount of fouls that we were committing like throughout the entire game. I don't know the amount of fouls called that was on us and the amount of fouls that was called on the Raptors and the difference between the two, but obviously just being a Sixers fan, it felt like a lot more were going towards the Sixers than it was going towards the Raptors. Um, Obviously, Andre Drummond getting those quick 2-1s kind of hurt us in the beginning, having to put Yabusele at the five, which is not too crazy to put him there. If he didn't look bad, is what I'm saying.
no, he's looked
Especially,
good through the first two games.
yeah, yeah. So it was just a bad game. I think they made 29. I was looking at it. I think they made 29 shots the entire game in the Raptors game, which is
Not
insane.
ideal.
Talking about almost averaging 100 possessions in a game. Like there was only 76 possessions in this game, and they made 29 of them. So shooting at 38% is crazy for the entire game.
Yeah, it's that's pretty disgusting.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I would say the only positive, like you said, some of the role players, getting in here and gelling.
right.
I don't expect Lowry to keep this up.
Yeah.
I think at this point in his career, Kyle Lowry's more of like a 6, 7 points per game guy, not a 11, 13.
Right. Right.
But Oubre's look good. I expected Oubre
Hmm.
to look good. Yabusele's look good. Caleb Martin had a decent game last time out.
Right.
Nothing crazy. Just seeing these guys get on the floor together and gel before the big guys come back.
Right.
Um, Hopefully, we get them back. Pacers tonight. I fully expect to be 0-3 heading into next week.
I mean,
And then
the way they played that game against the Knicks, I know the Knicks have everybody, but Tyrese Halliburton with 0 points the other night. That was that was kind of funny to watch. That just makes me. I think they win that game by? It was like almost a 30-point game. I think.
oh they were up the entire game by a ton.
Yeah. I
It was
mean,
never a game.
yeah. I don't expect us to win that game, but I feel like we might have a little bit more of a chance against a team that just got blown out by 30.
We just lost to the Raptors.
We did lose to the Raptors.
It's an ass off.
Yeah. Was listening to a little bit of Paul George podcast the other day. I know it was released a little bit ago, but it seems like, and I guess just from the reports, that he's progressing well to coming back soon. So who knows what progressing well means in terms of how many games he's going to be out. Uh, I
Right, right.
I think I saw something like he's going to be out the first 3 or 4 games. So we might see him next week, or we might see him in like 2 weeks or something. But it's we play 82 games. I'm not really concerned if you miss. We know you're gonna miss at least 20, at
What a
least.
Sixers start to a season, though.
Yeah, yeah. I'm okay with it though. Even with
No, yeah.
the Embiid staying out too. Like I'm seeing a lot of people, and I understand the hate or understand people being upset, but I've seen a lot of people being mad that Joel's not playing.
Not worried about him missing these early games. I'm not gonna lie. I was upset too that like it kills me with this conditioning thing. Like, how are you not conditioned for the start of the season?
Uh huh.
It's not an injury thing. You were playing in the Olympics.
Right.
So I know it could be an injury thing, but it's not an injury from last season. And they're not making it sound like an injury thing. They're just making it sound like a conditioning thing. You've
Mm-hmm.
had months to get ready for the season.
Yeah.
Why are you not in basketball condition? Like what have you been doing? The entire rest of the league started at the same time. You're the only dude in the entire NBA where they were like, he's just not ready yet.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. When I was reading reports and stuff like that, I felt like it was just pretty obvious for everybody that we're gonna just try to finesse. Like the reason that they're keeping it out is because we're trying to finesse him to like get a little bit more time to just heal from whatever. Like, cause you see him at every game, and I see him standing up, and I see him dribbling the ball during timeouts, and doing crossovers and whatever. So he's fine, but I just feel like we're like it's a Kawhi Leonard thing. Like they weren't trying to finesse, but they're trying to give a little bit more time for Kawhi to be like, hey, let your knee heal a little bit longer because these games realistically don't matter. And then,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe a week or two after, just we'll start. But I didn't think anything. I thought that was pretty obvious of like why we were doing that. And then I see people on Reddit going crazy of like Embiid, like I hate that Embiid's gonna miss the opener game and he shouldn't be able to play and we should be able or we should get fined for. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Like we want I want Embiid to not play these games in October. Like, yes, it's nice to see him after, losing in the first round last year and then only seeing him during the Olympics and coming back to now play for Philly. But I don't care about these games in October. Like, these games don't matter to me at all. So
No,
go ahead and take the whole October and November off at that point.
yeah. Well, wouldn't say that. We'd be a
Yeah,
little behind.
yeah, yeah.
Or do you mean preseason and start of regular season, or like all the way through November?
Yeah, I was just giving an exaggeration of just like how much
No, but
because
you're
I
right.
think even if like realistically it is an exaggeration, but even if he didn't play any of these games in October and he missed I don't know how many games are in a month, but just say what it's at least 3 games a week 4 weeks, that's probably like 12 games. Even if we did have like a losing record during that and get like 3, 4, I don't even know. But something in the realm of like we didn't have a lot of wins compared to a lot of losses. I think that we could still make it back up if we give Embiid that time off to then come back in
Hmm.
December. Like we're just gonna start winning games and winning games and winning games if he's healthy from that point. But then kind of just taking a gamble of, well, shoot, you might be cool all of December, January, and then even up to All Star Weekend. But as soon as March hits, you get hurt again. So then we're gonna
Yeah.
tank again. So you take that gamble, but who knows?
Yeah. I think back to the Grizzlies last year and how terrible they were before Ja came back. And it didn't end up mattering because he messed his shoulder up in practice and then didn't play, but
Right.
you just saw the hole they were in. They went like 9-1 um, after they got him back,
Yeah.
and still like weren't even 500 yet.
Yeah. That's true.
Like so they had to battle just to get back to that. And would they have made the playoffs if they let the whole season rock out with Ja healthy? Yeah,
Yeah.
but you just don't want to have to do that much work just to get back to like a respectable record.
Yeah. I guess it's like
So
you could
I hope
look
it's
at it
not too
as,
long.
yeah, I feel like you could look at it as their version of tanking, of like
Hmm.
we could tank all the way to like the 11 seed, and then by March or whatever, like if that was the case, by March we could be back up at least 7 or 6. So besides the Sixers, talking about the rest of the teams in the East, like a lot of these bottom teams look way more competitive than they did last year, which is very exciting to see. Obviously, like LaMelo Ball coming back and hooping,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then the Pistons are like competing. Even though the Pistons are going to be a lot better than what they were last year, because looking at their team of like they got Tim Hardaway Jr. and there's like Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren. Like those are good enough players on just a bad team last year. So they got a whole team of role players with Cade Cunningham, which is probably going to look a lot better this year. Obviously, if everybody stays healthy, like I really don't know who's going to be towards the bottom other than like the Brooklyn Nets and like the Raptors, I
Washington.
guess. Oh yeah, Washington. That's why I don't even remember. But yeah, like Washington, the Nets, and like the Raptors are probably going to be like bottom three this year, maybe.
Yeah. No, yeah. I was thinking the same thing before we started recording that
Yeah,
the East just looks all around better this year.
yeah. Have you watched Trey Mann on the Hornets? I've been watching a lot of highlights from the games for this first couple weeks, or this first week.
I watched a highlight reel of Melo
Yeah,
getting all his buckets that first game, but I have not seen a Hornets game yet.
you
But
should you should
they look
watch that
like
game against the
they look like a good team to tap into.
no, yeah, you should definitely watch those highlights. There's a guy, um, pretty sure his name's Trey Mann. He literally looks like
Hmm.
AI. Like his how he dresses and his hair and everything like that and how he plays. Just like
Okay.
he's been hooping. So I don't know if he's a rookie or if he's got like a year or two under his belt, but he looks pretty good. But how good does, like, I know we obviously hate him, but how good does Jason Tatum look?
Oh yeah, I know. I know. All
Jason
them
Tatum's
jokes
on his
during
comeback
all
year,
them
man.
jokes during the finals last year and in the Olympics about him being the worst player on the Olympics and
Oh man.
about the Celtics winning in spite of him. It's fun to joke around with Tatum, especially being a Sixers fan. But we know what Tatum is.
Oh yeah.
He'll consistently finish top five in MVP votings. He might get one year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Contrary to popular belief, he's the best player on the Celtics team. The Celtics have a very strong all around team. He makes that team go though. They're not the same team without Jason Tatum.
Yeah. No,
No,
I was.
Jalen Brown's nice, but he's not Tatum.
He's not Tatum, but I don't think they're definitely like there's no number two player on that team. It's definitely like Jason Tatum's 1A and Jalen Brown is 1B to me.
Yeah, I could say that.
So no, the league is looking interesting this year. I like the East. I like what we're seeing with it. So it's not just like 6 teams on the East last year, just like completely terrible. So you only got to worry about the other 6 or 7 or whatever it is. Um,
Yo. It's another reason I don't want Embiid out for a while, man.
Yeah,
Competition looks stronger this year.
that is true. That is actually more true. So I can definitely more agree with the statement from earlier that about that being wrong of him being off that long. But
Yeah,
um,
I don't want him. I don't want to be 4-12 when he gets back.
yeah, yeah, no, yeah, that would be
Um,
bad. We would definitely be like 11 or 12 or something.
but with Maxey just out there trying to play hero ball and him not on a heater right now, it
Yeah.
just
Maybe something changes with Nick Nurse. Like obviously you saw from the first game to the second game of how saw that Kyle Lowry was performing a lot better than Eric Gordon. So he's like, you know what? Let's move him to the one, put Maxey to the two, or however they did that, and let him start game two. So now, hopefully, after having those two games and seeing it was kind of the same production with Maxey, but just a little bit less shots this time. I think it was
mhm.
like 8 shots less that he pulled up. Maybe they switch something again where maybe they rotate him a little bit more, or they put a different lineup in there. Maybe put in Eric Gordon at the three helps. Like I don't know what would help more. I think having like KJ Martin out there starting wasn't that great, even though he is a better defender. But maybe having like an extra option for Maxi to like kick and drive to, so he feels like he doesn't have to like run in and try to get a shot off because he knows he has KJ Martin that can't shoot, and then Kelly Oubre that is more of a finisher. So maybe he just feels like he's in a box, like he can't drive and kick because he doesn't have
Mhm.
shooters around him. So maybe they switch something
Yeah,
up like that against the Pacers, depending on how they're gonna do. Because if you got Miles Turner in there, like obviously Maxi can finish about around big centers, but Miles Turner is definitely more frightening than anybody on the Raptors.
yeah. You don't want the game plan to be hope Maxey drives and continuously finishes around Miles Turner.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
going to lead to another 5 for 27 night from Maxey.
Exactly. I saw a couple of clips from that fight between Wemby and Dylan Brooks, but I didn't get like the whole gist of it. I guess like Chris Paul was also involved in it. What happened with that?
They're just Dylan Brooks being his usual dumb self.
Yeah.
I'm sure he heard the whistle blow 37 times because it did, and he just sat on the ground. He just kept wrestling for the ball. I don't.
So Chris Paul punched Dylan Brooks.
It said that it wasn't anything.
It looked like it. It looked like he wasn't. He obviously like didn't throw one, but as
Yeah.
he was like trying to pick up Wemby or like grab the ball or something, it looked like he just like threw his hand down really quick, and it
Hmm.
tried to like grazed him a little bit. And I think he got pissed, or Dylan Brooks got pissed when they started pulling him away after that. Um, yeah,
I don't know why. I like guys like Dylan Brooks. I think they're good for the league
yeah,
because at the end of the day, the NBA is for entertainment.
right.
You need you need guys like that, but in the moment you're watching it and you're just like, all right, what are we doing here?
Chris Paul is funny too. Like even with arguing with Jimmy Butler the other day. Who'd he push? He pushed some white boy or something on the Miami Heat. I think it was
Hmm.
Duncan Robinson or somebody. I don't remember, but he like fouled him or pushed him out of bounds or something like that. And Jimmy was talking to him. Like I obviously we don't really like we're not watching basketball to see people fight, but it is obviously entertaining when people like get there like that. I think in the Bucks game Andre Drummond and Gary Trent or like some guard got like tangled up on a rebound or something like that. And then they were
Hmm.
like beefing for 3 seconds, and it just like
Yeah, yeah.
immediately makes you sit up in your chair for a second. I'm like, oh yeah, it's about to pop off for a second. But
Hoping for what was it, Brandon Ingram? Was
yeah,
it Ingram?
it was Brandon
Who?
Ingram and James Harden, Chris Paul and Rondo.
Rondo. Yes,
Yeah,
Rondo was the other one
yeah.
involved. Yep.
Or even the tangle up a couple years ago with Joel and Cat too and Ben Simmons.
Putting him in the headlock.
Putting them
Yep.
in a headlock. Yeah, that was
Yep.
funny,
Yep.
man.
Yeah, that was fun. Hey, man. Like I said, sports is all entertainment. I'm not out here to watch anybody get hurt. A
Right.
good fight's fun in any sport. One of the best things in baseball is them stupid benches clearing brawls.
Yeah.
Yo, it's funny in baseball. like benches will start to clear, and it could be something that obviously isn't going to turn into like a big old fight.
Yeah.
It never matters though. Yo, both teams' bullpens always run out from center field and make the trip all the way in. And then by
Uh,
the time they get to the infield, everybody's going back to the damn dugouts anyway. It's like, why did y'all
right.
just bored out there
Right. Right.
waiting to pitch? Y'all just, but they just, oh shit, we got to get involved. Like, no,
I
you
mean, it's
don't.
a long ass game. I would do that too.
Yeah,
I'm
right. I'm just
bored. I'm
trying to
trying to
stretch
get
my
some
legs.
action. Yeah, right.
Ain't even nothing going on.
You know, that actually just popped into my head when we were just talking about them. Have you seen the trade rumors, or not trade rumors, but just like one good interest and one bad interest? I'll talk about the bad one. Talking a lot about PJ Tucker might be coming back to the Sixers. I'll literally end my life family friendly. I'll do something bad to myself. Uh,
But bro,
if
you
PJ
collect.
Tucker comes back, um, that I don't really care to talk about. But I've saw some stuff about Jonathan Kuminga maybe coming to the Sixers too, which I really enjoy. I really like Jonathan Kuminga's play. He could definitely fill. I don't. What's he play? He plays a forward,
He's
right?
like a he's like a three.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Could do a job.
depends.
He
I'm
can make
I'm
it
just
work.
trying to think of if he would be in that starting lineup or not.
Move Paul George to the four.
Who's at the
And
two? Kelly?
yeah, I was just. I mean, yeah, I guess you could just kind of have. You do kind of need more of a natural shooting guard there. We don't really have like a true like Desmond Bain type two guard.
Yeah,
Not with Maxey being more of a ball handler now. I loved that year with Harden with Maxey being off ball a lot
yeah,
because Maxey's very slippery, man. He's really good at getting himself open and catching and shooting the three, and he does all that work off ball. And then when Harden needs a break, um, or you're running a set with Maxey, then you could put the ball in his hands, and he runs the pick and roll really well with Joel.
right.
And I liked that combination of having him off and on the ball more with Harden being the primary ball handler. But obviously, we've had to pivot away from that.
Right. Yeah, I think because the NBA is so positionless now that you could probably I feel like Jonathan Kuminga plays well enough where he could be in our starting lineup. It could be like Maxi, George, Kuminga, Kelly, Embiid maybe,
Yeah. Or you could take out Kelly and try to play Martin as the two.
and have Kelly. I feel like Kelly is proving that he should be a starter though.
I'm cool with Kelly coming off the bench.
Hey, who's that
No,
bench
I
squad then?
still.
Like that straight five bench squad. Well, if you do that too, you're putting Eric Gordon on the bench as well. So you're putting like Kyle Lowry. You're putting two old guys on the bench. You're putting Kyle Lowry. You're putting Eric Gordon. You got Kelly. You got Andre Drummond and like Yabusele.
Yeah, I'm cool with both of them coming off the bench. You'll just have to stifle minutes. You obviously don't want them on the court at the same time.
Right, not like a straight five switch, but
Yeah, maybe when because a lot of the times what the Sixers do is when Embiid rests, Maxey stays on
yeah,
and kind of runs the second unit. So maybe when Embiid goes to rest, bringing on Drummond and Gordon,
right.
and then running that for a while, and then when Maxey goes to get his breather, putting in Kyle Lowry, and then getting Gordon off of there and subbing somebody back in
Right.
fresher.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they can figure that out. All right, well, that's really all the basketball stuff I can think of. If you want to move on to the Eagles, uh, Eagles are playing the Cincinnati Bengals today. Not sure what the Bengals record is. I think it's a losing record if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're a better team than their record suggests. I believe they're 2-4.
2-4, and I think the Eagles are
Yeah,
4-2.
because they started 1-3, or maybe they started 1-4. They started very slow,
Yeah, yeah.
but Joe Burrow seems to be back and fully healthy.
Uh-huh.
Despite the team not playing great, Joe Burrow's played very well. He looks really good. He looks like a top five quarterback in the NFL this year.
Right.
This is going to be a tough game for the Eagles, I think.
Uh-huh.
They need their offense to continue to click because the Bengals defense is not great.
Yeah.
You can put some points up on that Bengals defense. It's not bad. They have good players on that defense, but they can give up some points. And
Right.
so the Eagles need to be clicking because that secondary outside of Quinyon Mitchell, who is still a rookie, but he's looked very good. He looks like he's going to be a really good corner for years to come.
Yeah.
Secondary's been a little shaky, and you don't want your secondary being shaky going up against T. Higgins and Jamar Chase
Right.
because the Bengals will certainly kill you through the air
Yeah.
through those two. They got
Just
a good. Both their running backs have been playing well this year. Zach Moss and Chase Brown.
right. All I know is that when I do watch the Eagles game, because I know we didn't talk about them playing the Giants. I don't think I watched. I watched like maybe the first quarter of that game because I was busy that day. But it's
Mm-hmm.
always seems like a conversation of the Eagles defense and the defense needing to like start clicking or like start stepping up from whatever performance that they've been showing in these first couple of games because
Yeah,
yeah, like you were saying, like with going up against Jamar Chase and them, it's gonna be a problem if they're not containing them well enough.
yeah, it is. The Eagles also have a problem. They're not getting to the quarterback.
Uh,
Eagles are always been a big sack team, and they're not getting home this year. Um, Now they did last game.
huh.
Start to ramp up the pressure, and maybe that's just through scheme, but they seem to be getting to the quarterback more. But losing Hassan Reddick
Yeah.
uh, obviously left an impact there. But if they can get to the quarterback, I think it'd be a good year because that offensive line's always suspect in Cincinnati.